Hello, this is Dr. Ted D'Amico, and this video is a continuation of the last video, and it deals with the All Measures file produced by the Consumer Insights and Charting program. Now let's review the All Measures file. As mentioned previously, each table in this file contains all the measures in a given analysis, and none of the tables are sorted on the basis of any column header. The first table in this file is the table of contents, which lists all of the tables contained in the All Measures file. Each listed table is hyperlinked to the worksheet that contains the table. Additionally, at the top of each table is another hyperlink, which when clicked, returns you to the table of contents. The first table in this file is the top 5 segments by question table. This table lists, for every response to every question, the top 5 brands with respect to audience size and their corresponding audience values. For example, for the measure male, brand 12 has the greatest number of male users, followed by brand 6, brand 10, brand 5, and brand 7. Brand 12's male audience, which is 6,175,000, is shown in the column labeled Value 1, and is followed by the audience values for the next 4 leading brands in terms of the number of males who use their brand. It is to be noted that the Consumer Insights and Charting program also generates identical tables with respect to index, composition, and coverage. The next table in this file is the top 3 segments highlighted by question table. This table lists, for every response to every question, the results for all the brands in the analysis and color codes the top 3 brands. The brand that is ranked first is color-coded red, the brand that is ranked second is color-coded blue, and the brand that is ranked third is color-coded green. The Consumer Insights and Charting program also generates identical tables with respect to index, composition, and coverage. The Consumer Insights and Charting program also produces a rank table for each brand in the analysis. In each table, the analytical brand's performance and ranking is shown for all measures. In this case, the analytical brand is brand number 2. To get a better understanding of what is provided in this table, let's look at the first line of data. The first line focuses on the measure male, which appears in Table 1. As you can see, 41.6% of users of the analytical brand are male, and that the brand ranks 13th among all brands analyzed in terms of the percent males represent of its total user base. It should be noted that by sorting the table on the basis of a brand's ranking, one can quickly pinpoint all the measures in which the brand is ranked first, second, or third. The Consumer Insights and Charting program also produces a series of comparison tables. As discussed previously, in each comparison table, the target brand is compared with one competing brand to determine the measures that best predict whether people use the target brand or whether they use the competing brand. The number of comparison tables produced by the program is dependent on the number of competing brands in the analysis. The Consumer Insights and Charting program also produces a series of statistical tables. In each table, the target brand is compared with one competing brand to determine whether the compositional differences between the 2 brands are statistically significant at 7 different levels of statistical significance, ranging from the 90% level of confidence to the 99.9% level of confidence. Additionally, the table tells you the 95% confidence limits surrounding each compositional difference. To help you better understand this table, let's look at the first line of data, which focuses on the measure male. As can be seen in columns 6 and 7 of this table, 49.5% of brand 7 users are male, and 30.7% of brand 8 users are male. The next column tells you what the compositional difference between the 2 user groups is, which in this case is 18.9 percentage points. When a statistical test was performed to determine whether this difference was statistically significant, the table tells us that the difference is significant at the 99.9 level of confidence. It also tells you that given the sample sizes of the 2 brands, the 18.9 percentage point difference between the 2 brands can, in reality, range from a low of 10.8 percentage points to a high of 27 percentage points. The next table we will discuss is a profile table. The number of profile tables generated by the Consumer Insights and Charting program is based on the number of brands included in the analysis. In a profile table, all traditional media marketing metrics are provided for a given brand, as well as some metrics that are unique to the Consumer Insights and Charting program. Specifically, for the brand that is being analyzed, 5 traditional metrics are provided. These include sample size, projected audience, composition, coverage, and index. The first 3 of these metrics, sample size, projected audience, and composition, are also provided for the total sample, which in this case is adults 18 plus. The statistics that are specific or unique to the Consumer Insights and Charting program include incidence index, target association coefficient, composition index rank, and coverage incidence rank. Let's review each of these terms one by one. An incidence index is a statistic that is used to circumvent the fact that the maximum index a group can achieve is a function of the percentage the group represents in the analytical base. For example, because Afro-Americans represent about 12% of the U.S. population, the maximum index this segment can obtain is 833, which is derived by dividing 100 by 12 and multiplying the result by 100. In contrast, because Caucasians represent about 80% of the U.S. population, they can have a maximum index of 125. To circumvent this uneven ceiling effect, the incidence index divides the percent in the segment who use the brand by the percent that are not in the segment who use the brand. For example, if 20% of Caucasians use brand X and only 5% of those who are not Caucasians use the brand, then the Caucasian index would be 400, which is derived by dividing 20 by 5 and multiplying the result by 100. Now let's define target association coefficient. This is a correlation coefficient that can range from -1 to +1. In the context of the present analyses, it tells you how well a given measure predicts whether or not people use a given brand. The next 2 terms are brand's composition index rank and coverage incidence rank. In the first case, this statistic tells you how the brand ranks on a given measure relative to all the brands in the analysis with respect to the measure's index and composition level. The second statistic tells you the brand's relative ranking on a given measure with respect to coverage and incidence. The Consumer Insights and Charting program also provides a brand interaction table for each brand in the analysis. In a given table, key metrics for all brands in the analysis are provided. These include sample size, number of brand users, incidence, share of users, average number of different brands used per brand user, and loyalty. Additionally, the table provides key metrics specific to the brand that's being analyzed in a given table. Specifically, this table tells you for each competing brand the percent of analytical brand users who also use the brand, the percent of competing brand users that use the analytical brand, the user overlap between the analytical and competing brands, and the analytical brand's opportunity and vulnerability indices with respect to the competing brand.